The reason he had to plead the fifth is his alternative was lying to Congress, and that's something, sadly, Dr. Fauci has done repeatedly. The pardon that Joe Biden corruptly gave him to cover up from his criminality, that was retrospective. That covered past crimes. But if he went to the Senate and lied again yesterday, I believe the Department of Justice would prosecute him for lying to Congress under oath. That he was a craven liar who destroyed jobs, who destroyed lives, who destroyed the future of kids. Another lie that he revealed in his diary is he was reveling in convincing Democrats in New York and California to shut down schools.
Well, that was Texas Senator Ted Cruz with me on Mornings with Maria on Fox Business on Thursday, following a tense Senate oversight hearing into the origins of the coronavirus and whether Dr. Anthony Fauci previously lied under oath to Congress. Here's the chairman of the committee, Rand Paul, with me just before the hearing. Watch this.
I expect he will not tell the truth. I expect him to dissemble. I expect him to filibuster, but I don't expect him to be honest. We have the evidence now that he destroyed records, that he encouraged others to destroy records. We have evidence and the opinion of many of the people who worked around with him that the research that was funded in China and Wuhan was dangerous, gain-of-function research.
Lying to Congress is a felony. Will there be any accountability for lies?
Yes, if that he lies during the hearing, that's a new lie, and the pardon won't cover that.
Instead of answering questions from the Senate panel, Fauci decided to plead the Fifth Amendment over and over again. Watch this.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution. I'm sorry, Senator, but on the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution. On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Wow, that was something. Joining me now is Kansas Senator Roger Marshall. And Senator, I know you're no longer on the committee, so you were not asking questions, but you were sitting right behind him. What can you tell us about that hearing?
Yeah, Maria. Well, good morning. I think, first of all, Fauci was literally shaking as he read his opening statement. And through that hearing, he took body blow after body blow. And eventually, when it's all over with, he's a man that's broken. He looks like an old punching bag that's worn out and is done in the gym. And why wouldn't he? If Americans take the time to read his diary, they're going to see that this was a guy that was full of pride. He was drunk with power. He was drunk with pride. He was drunk with his own celebrity. This is the Anthony Fauci that I saw through those 5 years. Never any remorse, never any concern for the people dying, let alone the ones he was locking out of churches, out of schools, out of their jobs. He was not only reading his own press clippings, he was, putting them in his own diary as well, regaling over every one of them. So sad day for America. We still don't have closure. There's so much he could have told us. There's so much that he could have told us so we can learn for next time.
Well, I mean, you are a doctor. You came into Congress as a medical professional in your own right. So what did you take away from those diary entries that we should be understanding best?
Right. So again, he writes in his diary one thing, but tells America something else. The end of January 2020, he is sitting there saying there's no way that this virus came from this wet market, that it was a spreader event. And oh, by the way, this biosecurity level 4 lab is just like a couple blocks away. So which one do you think is more likely? That a bat traveled 2,000 miles, got off on a bus, and then suddenly got into that market? Or do you think it was leaked from the lab 4 blocks away? So he says one thing to his diary, something else to us. On February the 1st, he has a phone call with the 12, the best scientists in the world on this gain-of-function research. 10 of the 12 tell us that they think it came from a laboratory, but he tells the president, he tells all of us that he thinks that this came from this wet market. So he lied, and he lied again to protect his own reputation.
Well, I mean, and that's what I don't understand. I mean, if he continually lies under oath, that's a felony, and we haven't seen any accountability for it. Rand Paul told me he estimates that 15 million people died, approximately, and their families want answers. So why have we watched repeated lies from Anthony Fauci with no consequence?
Right. And beyond that, 20 million Americans still have long COVID, including one of my loved ones. So those people deserve answers as well. But this is why I'm calling for a special counsel. We need to get this out of Washington, get the politics out of it, and then go back and build this case that Anthony Fauci, for over 20 years, funded gain-of-function research. Then he led this cover-up as well. Then we got to get into the auto pin part. And by the way, this was the auto pin part, and so maybe he's not immune from what he said in the past. Look, this guy's slick. He's lawyered up. I don't know that if we can throw him in jail over this, but I think that certainly a special counsel needs to get a hold of this. There's no way we can address this in one morning hearing in Congress.
I mean, they used extreme positioning of Fauci to reshape so much, reshape the way we think about a pandemic, how to care for ourselves, reshape election laws, changing outcomes. And China was a beneficiary. I mean, there's so much here, Senator. Does the White House have they retrieved any documentation? Have you retrieved any documentation that shows that Fauci was aware, that Joe Biden was aware, and could the DOJ test the validity of that pardon? Rand Paul says that it is such an extensive pardon, similar to the pardon that he gave his son, Hunter Biden, which we're going to talk about with James Freeman coming up.
Yeah, so Maria, that's all, in my opinion, yes, I think there is evidence that should be investigated. But this would take a special counsel to diving all of them, even just the validity of this auto pin pardon. I mean, I understand that maybe on some rules that maybe the president didn't have to sign in with his own pin, but this auto pin was being ran by somebody else. So I think there's a lot more here. We need a special counsel up and running.
All right, special counsel is what you're looking for. Real quick, let me get to the other pieces of business here. You heard what Brian Mast just said, Chairman of Foreign Affairs. The ball is in the Senate's court. You've got the Clarity Act. You've got the Continuing Resolution. You've got the NDAA. You've got the Reconciliation 3.0. Are you moving on any of this? You've got 1 week left. What's the priority next week?
Well, I feel like we're trying to put 20 pounds of potatoes in a 10-pound bag, but we need to prioritize, get as much done as we can, starting with the funding of the government. Remember, Chuck Schumer, big government socialists, they've shut the government down 3 times already. So it's time to move that, and hopefully we'll get on these other bills as well.
Well, I mean, the Save America Act is critical going into the midterm elections. Do you think that the Save America Act can actually create a secure election for the midterms in November? Do you see that as a priority? What's wrong with your colleagues that they are not on board?
Yeah, Maria. So certainly we have 50 Republicans that would support some version of the SAVE Act, but it takes 10 Democrats to go along with this, and that's what we can't find. So we're going to continue to work through the process. I'm asking that we stay in D.C., though, till we take